So I didn't lose any weight this week, and I know that can really mess with your head a little bit, because when you're on Mounjaro, you kind of expect the scale to move every single week, even if it's just a tiny little bit. And when it doesn't, you start asking questions. Am I doing something wrong? Has it stopped working? Or is this just part of the process? Now, the difference this week is I actually understand what's going on. So I'm going to break down what's happened, what I've noticed, and then I'll go through some of the questions that you've sent in. I'm also going to be talking about negativity, and I've also had a request from Oxford University, and I'm going to be asking a favour of you all when I share that link. So happy Saturday everyone, I'm Mando's Midlife, and this week, as I previously stated, the scale didn't move at all. No weight loss whatsoever. Now, you would think that would really get to me, because you think you're doing everything right and then you expect something to happen. But that's not always how it works. So I'm going to break down exactly what happened this week, why the scale stayed the same, and what I've realised. Now, so this week, everything stayed exactly the same. And as disappointing as that can be when you're on this weight loss journey, it's just the way it is. It's just how it goes. And it's not like this is a mystery to me, because I know exactly why I've not lost any weight this week. The main reasons were I was working away in London again. So I've been on a course in London, staying in a hotel for 2 nights. And it's really hard to stay on track. It's really hard to stay on your calories. And you might be sat there thinking, well, you've got to want this, you've got to make this happen. You've got to make this happen, and I really do. But what it feels like and what it actually is, and open and honest as always, is when I've not got my routine, I am awful at this. I am not very good at staying on track when I don't have my normal routine. So what I need to do is get myself back in my routine. And after, I've got a holiday coming up in 2 weeks' time, and I'm away for a week. I'm going to get that week out of the way, and then I can get back into the routine. I can start taking lunches back into work. I can start having breakfast every day before I go to work. All the things that are going to work. I haven't managed to get to the gym this week, so not great, but it is tricky when you're away. I've had a few comments mentioning negativity. Why are your videos always negative? Why are you always Debbie Downer at the minute? This channel is all about sharing my journey with you. It's going to be negative. It's going to be on a bit of a downer. It's going to lack positivity on the weeks when I've got nothing to be positive about. And I'm not looking at the big picture, the 5 stone loss and the 8-month journey. Week to week, if it's not positive, then unfortunately the underlying narrative is going to be a little bit negative, and that is just the nature of this beast. I'm not going to come on here and say, yay, I've stayed the same, what a week, it's been fantastic, brilliant. I'm going to come on here and I'm going to talk real, and I'm not going to fluff over anything, because if I'm being honest, you don't need to hear that. You don't. If you're on this journey, you don't want me coming in here making everything seem so rosy and fluffy and marshmallow, when the actual reality of this journey is not always like that. And there will be positive times, and there will be the cheering and the yays when something good happens. That said, I know what this week's been like. I know how frustrating it can be for everyone when you're not losing weight, but there's always a reason. The medication is still working. There's always a reason, and the reason for me is I simply didn't move enough and I ate too much food. And I'm not going to hide away from that. I'm not going to shy away from it. I'm going to be honest. That's exactly what my weeks involved whilst I've been out of my normal routine. And if you're watching my older videos when we talk about routines and working away, it's always been an issue for me, and it's always going to be an issue for me. The positive to take away from it for me at the moment is, once I get to the end of next week, I'm not away much throughout the summer, apart from my vacations or summer holidays, and that's always a little bit of a time to switch off and not worry too much for me. Right, now we're going to move on to Q&A, and I'm going to read out a couple of your questions that have been sent in. If I don't read out your question today, it doesn't mean I've binned it or deleted it. It just means I'm wary of keeping the video at a particular length, so you don't all switch off and go out and start practicing your juggling or yoga or whatever it is you may enjoy doing on a Saturday. And I do appreciate you spending a little bit of your Saturday with me. So we'll start with the first question, which has been sent in by GoGolfer72, and they say, I'm considering changing from Mounjaro to Wegovy due to cost. Just wondering if you had considered changing. Now, when the price rise changes happened in September in the UK, it was something I considered purely based on cost alone. You're probably looking at, I think the starter dose for Wegovy is about £150 compared to about £200 for Mounjaro. A lot of what I've read, a lot of what I've heard is that a lot of people that moved to Wegovy are now coming back to Mounjaro because they didn't find it nearly as effective as Mounjaro was. So that's something you need to consider if you're looking to save the money, because you may run into issues losing weight effectively. So that's the main thing for me. And as you know, I'm in the middle of a plateau or a stall or whatever you may want to call it. If I was at my go weight where I wanted to be, then potentially it would be something that I would look at. But it's a really good question, and you've just got to weigh up cost versus effectiveness, I think, and because you need to also bear in mind I am not a medical professional. Right, this is a fantastic question. And it's not something I've ever been asked, and it's not something I've ever considered, but it has changed the way I dispose of my pens. So it's from David Palmer 5290. Q&A, thought of another question. What do you do with spent injection pens? If I just threw them away, I'd be worried someone got them to refill with God knows what and sell them to an unsuspecting person. That really is a fantastic point. It's not something that I had ever considered, and I tend to just throw them in the normal household waste. But that has changed now, and I do, once they're empty, since I read this question, which was probably 2 weeks ago now, I do hit them with a hammer and make sure they're broken before they go into the household waste. The last thing I'd want is for someone to get hold of it, fill it with whatever, and then sell it on Facebook Marketplace or down the pub or whatever. So it's a great question and something really worth considering if you're on the same weight loss medicated journey that I'm on. Right, quick shout out to Lily and Loaf, which are one of the channel partners at this time, and they have formulated a daily essentials bundle specifically for GLP-1 users, because maintaining balanced nutrition is just as important as taking the medication itself, because with reduced appetite and smaller meals, it's easy to miss out on key nutrients. This is where the daily essentials come in. I will leave a link in the description, and they are currently giving away a free packet of vitamin D with every order if you use my link below. Right, question from Jumping Peter. Thanks for the update. I'm in the same boat as you, but I've just started. Your progress is great. Thank you ever so much. Tell us more about the gym. I want to know what exercises are good. My opinion of gym exercises are, the best gym exercises are the ones that you enjoy, because if you're going to hate it, you're not going to enjoy it. Ultimately, you're not going to do it. Now, my sort of history in exercise has always been cycling. I'm not quite back to the point where I want to be out on the road just yet, although I have got a secret stash of bikes which will be getting dusted off very soon. I do resistance training, and I do arms, shoulders, back and chest, and that is it. I know that's not right, but it's just the way I deal with it, because I hate doing legs at the gym. Try and find something that works for you. Ultimately, what you want to be doing is trying to maintain muscle as you lose weight. That's the most important part, but find something you enjoy and try and remain consistent. Right, this is a quick shout out. It's not a sponsor, I'm not selling anything. I've been approached by Oxford University, and they are doing a study, and they're currently recruiting people aged 18 and over that are using GLP-1s. So it can be Wegovy, it can be Mounjaro, it can be any of the weight loss medications, but you need to be over 18 and you need to be getting it off the NHS. Now, taking part in this process involves an interview, which is likely to be on the phone or via Teams, and will take around about 1 hour. Now, my understanding is you will get compensated for taking part in this study, but I will leave the details on the screen. There's an email address on there and there's a phone number, but just for clarity, you need to be getting your medications from the NHS to qualify for this study. And if you are able to help, I'm sure they would really appreciate you contacting them. Thanks as always for your support. The Secret Jabbers video is currently in the process of being made, so if you were one of the people kind enough to send in your story, it is on its way, so just be patient. But there's so much information that I was sent in, it has become a bit of a job to collate all the information, then try and condense it and edit it into probably 2 videos now. It is on the horizon, I absolutely promise you. If you haven't liked this video, please do, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. It means the absolute world to me. If you've got a question for next Saturday's Q&A video, pop it down below and I will add it to the list and it will get read out on the channel. I will see you all on Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I will leave a few of my other videos on the screen right now. There, subscribe. Thanks as always for watching. Take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend.